All right, welcome everybody to just another day, but also a very special day of BSL. My name is Rapid. I'm here with Nyoken, Zero behind the scenes, and of course, all of you wonderful people in chat. A big thanks to everybody for tuning in because it's an absolutely crushing group of death today in Group B of the BSL round of 16. What do you think about today's games, Nyoken?
Oh yeah, these games. This is what I was waiting for when the draws were being made. I was in chat. I was spamming. I wanted Neon Zerg and TerrOr in a group, and then Bonneth or Dewalt. So when I saw this group, I went crazy. I was like, they can't get more stacked than this. And you know, we had Dragon get eliminated yesterday. That's one of the top four already gone. I'm dreaming of the scenario where we have all of the top four of last season get eliminated and replaced with new top four. You think that's a possibility?
I don't know about all the top four. Like okay, so let me set up this group. This is like I did some behind the scenes undercover reporting where I watched simultaneously Dewalt's stream and Eon Zerg's stream, and let me just tell you, you might be onto something, Nyoken, because all I'm trying to say is I asked Dewalt if he felt like he was ready for today's group, and he said absolutely not. And then I watched Eon Zerg's stream, and I turn on Eon Zerg's stream, and he's playing Pro Evolution Soccer, and I'm just like, okay, my dude, like I don't know if we're grinding out those long hours for today's games, but obviously both of those players that I just talked about are some of the best non-Korean players in the world. And I mean, even when you put them up against some of the top Korean players in the world, they still go toe-to-toe. So it's no joke when we talk about this group being a group of death, because the other two players in there, TerrOr and Ultra, absolutely could make it out of this group and nobody would be surprised. Maybe Ultra a slight underdog, but only because the other three players are major overdogs.
Yeah, Ultra, I believe in him. He always surprises me. Like I said yesterday, I always watch him in tournaments. I'm like, well, he's dead, because I see who he's playing against and he makes it. He just always makes it. So if he makes it out, I wouldn't be surprised. The dream, of course, for me is to get TerrOr and Ultra out so we can have 3 Terrans already into the top 8. But
how are you trying to root against the two best players in this group, Nyoken? I don't know what
well, because they're Terran, but I love Dewalt and Eon Zerg. You know, I was reading one at Discord, because I don't get to watch the G's weekly, I think is what it's called. Dewalt and recently, who's way up there on the ladder. Like, we're talking somebody that can potentially make ASL. So if Dewalt can kill someone like Scan, oh, TerrOr and Ultra, you're in a world of hurt, especially when we cut maps like Gladiator.
Yeah, wow. Oh my goodness. So this is a very kind of special day. If you guys have not watched BSL before, you're tuning in at the right time. We'll also go back and watch all the other videos on YouTube. But so yeah, yesterday we got like all the wacky games out of the way for BSL, and now we've just got cold, hard, calculated build orders between esports professionals. I can't wait. So yeah, I guess we are starting today. Let me pull up my BSL stats. Okay, so we're going to be starting today with, and now this is where we can put the brackets up on screen. We're going to be starting today with Group B. I believe Dewalt is playing. Wait, I don't actually know who's playing yet. Dewalt's playing TerrOr. Right, I was right. All right. And there's a reason Dewalt's number 2, because he is so badass. He won a BSL a long time ago, and now he's coming back for more. He's playing TerrOr, and TerrOr is one of the best Terran players in the world. You can watch him play at TerrOr Terran on Twitch. He streams all the time, and he is badass. Holy cow, he's so good. Second place in 2018, and he's coming back for first, so I cannot wait to watch this guy play. I know he's one of your favorite players, Nyoken, and of course, certainly a favorite for this tournament. Absolutely could go all the way.
Yeah, TerrOr is, I would say he's like the fantasy of the foreign Brood War, because he plays a bunch of different styles, very aggro. He can do harassment very well. I watched him on stream yesterday. He's playing blockchain, and if you're a Terran playing blockchain, you're able to do a whole bunch of stuff. So he's definitely someone to watch out for and be dangerous. And Dewalt, I don't know how well he's going to go up against somebody like TerrOr who can mix it up. He's not just going to play standard every single time. You definitely got to be on your toes versus somebody like him.
Yeah, for sure. On the other side, though, Dewalt can just do it all. Like he is the StarCraft version of the Dewalt power drill. You guys all have one in your garage. They can just do everything. They can drill forward, backward, side to side. He's just got it all. And of course, he is the BSL Season 3 champion. He beat TerrOr in that season, and now 4 seasons later, the rivalry is just that much more intense. So I cannot wait to watch this. They both have insane records because they're 2 of the longest standing players in BSL overall, and to have them both in the same group is just insanity. What is also insanity is that inevitably in set 2 we will watch them play on Power Bond. So I can't no series would be complete unless we had that happen. Also, a big shout out to the Peruvian flag, which we also have updated with the little tiny logo right in the middle. So I'm very happy about that. And if the Russian flag had a logo, we'd put that right in the middle too.
Well, I'm ready for this series because this is what I've been waiting for the past week. So let's get into it.
All right, yeah, let's go. All right. Here we go. Game number 1 on Gladiator. All right, here we go. In the upper, damn, this is so epic. In the upper right-hand corner, left-hand corner, damn, I ruined it. In the red is Terran. It is the Peruvian powerhouse TerrOr.
And in the bottom right, sporting another new color, that hot pink.
What?
Dewalt. I really like this color, actually.
Yeah, this is actually perfect Dewalt color. Like, I guess I don't know Dewalt's favorite color, but that is a great Protoss color for sure.
Yeah, it definitely goes well with the yellow and the blue. Oh man, what do you think we're going to see, Rapid? Are we going to see aggro play? So far, no proxy pylon for Dewalt, and Gladiator is a really good map to be aggressive on.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be the strategic mastermind here, Nyoken, but it just, from what I've seen so far in BSL, besides all of the crazy, stupid stuff, is that TerrOr is really hard to kill. And I feel like as long as you're a Terran player and you can hang on, there's so much real estate on this map that inevitably, if you can grab your 2, 3, 4 bases, like, you're just going to be in it for the long haul. But Dewalt, if anybody BSL is going to be able to make these like surgical strikes, those find the needle in the haystack recalls into your opponent's base, like Dewalt's going to do that and make it happen. And he also, I've seen him use Reavers a little bit more in TVP. So I'm not sure if we're going to see like that more standard maxed out gateway army like we're used to.
Yeah, Reavers, I almost face it every single game these days when I play on ladder.
Okay.
And Dewalt has always struck me as somebody that doesn't really use Reavers, but it is a possibility that he might go for this. I played Dewalt maybe like 2 months ago, and I just got ran over. Like, usually when we play and we get into a macro game like that, it's kind of like, well, it's kind of evenish, and then something kind of happens where I end up losing. But that was the first time where I actually just got obliterated. So Dewalt in the past few months has really, really upped his game. And I am a little surprised that he didn't 12 Nexus, because Gladiator, since you expect proxy so often, kind of puts Terran kind of overly defensive. And if you get away with a 12 Nexus, Terran's in a terrible position.
Yeah, and especially since, at least from what I've seen, more Terran players are starting with just kind of that proxy barracks that's not really a proxy, it's just there in case your opponent is going for the 12th Nexus. to be able to put on some extra pressure. But yeah, none of that shenaniganry, no fast command center either, obviously because of those expected proxies. But also a very delayed scout here from Dewalt. He's only just now going to be scouting with his probe, so sad Mr. Zealot on the other side of the map, not going to be too relevant this game.
Yeah, and Dewalt is going for a build similar to what Dragon did versus SPX yesterday, and SPX just handled it perfectly. Now, Dewalt kind of got unlucky with cross positions like this, so the Zealot really is going to deal no damage. But one thing to note, in the main of TerrOr, he's had 2 to 3 on gas this entire time. There it is. There's the starport. That's exactly what I was expecting. And Dewalt, this Zealot honestly needs to get in and see the command center. Now, I don't think he went in far enough to see a CC. He may think that there's no CC because this bunker is pretty far forward.
Yeah, I think he got enough information. I mean, if you desperately need to see it, obviously you can poke in again, but that's going to be maybe worrying unless he didn't get that information and he doesn't know. But I don't... yeah, okay, so he didn't get the information he needed. He poked in again and saw, yes, still no CC.
Yep, I think Dewalt knows because as soon as that Zealot went in, he instantly put down a robotics, and you never go one gate robo on one base. So Dewalt already knows what's going on, and this is going to be pretty much a direct counter to what TerrOr is doing. Unless TerrOr can draw some Dragoons out of position with an SCV or a Vulture or something, I don't think that this drop that he's going for is really going to deal much damage. And if you don't deal damage with a drop, especially versus someone like Dewalt, you are in big time trouble.
Oh yeah, especially since Dewalt has some of the craziest macro I've seen out of any Protoss player. Like, there's some Protoss players like Bonnet. Like, he'll play one base Reaver all day long, but when it comes to like playing a 30-minute game and just making things on time all the time, I would say Dewalt definitely kind of owns that in that regard. So a lot of Dragoons out. We're watching the dropship. We're watching for the dropship and any sort of shenaniganry in that direction. It's just now being produced. It's in the base. Where's it headed? It's gonna pick up some vultures on the way. We'll see if it can break into that base because there's already Dragoons spread out all around the perimeter.
Yeah, Dewalt, he knows that this has got to be what it is. And really, as I was saying, TerrOr, he needs to show these vultures in the front, try and draw them out of position. Unluckily for him, there's already goons set up in the main, so it's really not going to help him out, but that would be a good plan. But here we go, dropship coming in. Does he have speed? Okay, speed is about to kick in, so this is perfect timing. Yeah. There's only 2 Dragoons versus 4 Vultures. That's a lot of potential damage.
Okay, so he turns around. There's some merit to just dropping off the Vultures immediately anyway, but he actually has this high ground pathway that he can use to sneak around the back, and oh my goodness, TerrOr finds the pathway into the back of the base. Now, unfortunately, there are Dragoons here, but he does lay a couple of mines. They do get sniped. Perfect control there by Dewalt.
Well, so far that wasn't bad from TerrOr. He lost 1 Vulture. He does have his command center matching the Nexus. I really thought Dewalt was just going to 1-gate expand and just be far, far ahead. But both players did go for a safe build. So actually, TerrOr's not in a bad position despite going for a dropship. He's just fine. Supplies are still in favor of Dewalt, but kind of a little bit inflated with so many Dragoons. And we are just going to transition into a normal game because TerrOr is going straight into Armory. But he's got to be careful because Dewalt knows that he built a lot of Vultures, and Vultures don't deal damage to Dragoons. So if Dewalt goes for something like a Bulldog, TerrOr might be in a bit of a trouble.
Well, I mean, mines deal damage to Dragoons, so let's not pretend these are helpless pacifists driving the Vultures around sightseeing. Like, they're agents of destruction, and unfortunately, they haven't actually really been doing very much. So for a guy that is known as TerrOr, the Terran terrorist, he's not getting in with the Vultures just yet. And he actually backs away from the 4th Dragoons at the natural too, so really hasn't found much use out of this dropship, even though he hasn't lost it yet.
Yeah, and as we were stating earlier, Dewalt is going to go for Reaver, and it's not just Reaver. He's getting speed on his shuttle. This may be something like double or triple shuttle. That's kind of being seen more often these days, and if you ever move out and Protoss just instantly counters. All of a sudden, all your depots die, potentially your armory gets sniped, SCV line goes down, and then if you turn around, well, they just leave.
Oh, wait, how did that Vulture get in there? What? Okay, it dies in one shot, so you get an honorable mention medal for that one. But I cannot believe that he keeps sneaking these units in. That was just like a 1 HP Vulture, but it still made it all the way into the main.
Yeah, I didn't even see it. It was just all of a sudden there, and I like how it had one hit yet still got a probe kill off.
Well, so I see Vultures, man. What do I say? There's another 1 HP Vulture in the dropship at the 6 o'clock location, but I thought it was that one, but it wasn't. It was a different one. So I don't know where these things keep coming from. It's like a Nidus canal or something in there. But either way, hey, this is Dewalt's first trip out onto the map. His foray into the upper pizza slice. And I mean, there's mines set up, but an observer's there to scout them. If he's able to clear up maybe some of the mines in the middle, there's really nothing Terran out there on the map at all. So he could get one of those soft contains going on, really just get out there on the map. And of course, he's got that shuttle along for the ride as well. And here we go into the main. There's a Goliath right there waiting for him.
Wow, I thought for sure TerrOr was just going to die right there. There's 2 tanks, and they're not really spread out at the natural. Yeah. If Reaver had just unloaded there, those would have just got instantly popped, and we have, what is it, like 15 goons versus a bunker?
Yeah, not great odds for poor Mr. Bunker today. And here we go. We're looking for another avenue of attack. He's bringing the Reaver around back. There is a mine planted. No! Okay, the mine does go off there, but so does a Scarab, picking up that very damaged Reaver, taking it back out again.
Yeah, nicely done. I thought that Reaver might get picked off, but Dewalt at least saved it. He does have his 3rd Nexus up, and behind this, he is transitioning into normal play. Stargate coming up. He's going to have that Arbiter Tribunal coming down pretty soon, and TerrOr's in big trouble. We see that he's got a 3rd command center of his own, but the supply is starting to shoot way up for Dewalt. 30 supply lead, only 3 factories for TerrOr. He's got his armory +1 done and science facility done, but Dewalt, if he gets another base, I just don't know how you stop him from taking the whole map. He's got complete map control right now, and he has that double shuttle as expected.
Yeah, he is going to go for the double shuttle. One's got the Reaver, the other has 4 Zealots in it. Now, TerrOr tried to do another Vulture drop. It didn't work out, but oh no, Dewalt's actually going for it right now. The double shuttle right in onto the siege tanks. The Reaver's not being targeted. He gets a huge Scarab off, and the Zealots are doing the rest. They're taking out the tanks that are sieged, and even now there's only 1 left in the back. Poor Mr. Bunker, he's not lasting very long, and the siege tanks behind that are not doing anything either. The SCVs killing off the Reaver. The citizens arrest, but something tells me it's not going to be enough. In the end, Dewalt crushing through with so many Dragoons, destroying the front, and now breaking into the natural.
Yeah, he just hit TerrOr right at the exact moment he had to, and not only is he going to bust the natural, he took down the 3rd command center also, and he's probably just going to end it because this is one add-on production for TerrOr. You can't stop Mass Dragoons with just 1 single tank constantly being produced, and meanwhile Dewalt also taking a 4th base.
Yeah, this is actually disgusting. I cannot believe Dewalt, the sickest macro, and he's not slacking on the expos as well. The poor little tank that couldn't gets out there, goes down, and that's it. TerrOr taps out, and that's game number 1. Wow, Dewalt, I mean, we talked about this as like a battle where anybody could get out of this group, but Dewalt is not making it look so close.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens when you go for the drop play. You just don't have units, and if Protoss just attacks you like that, tanks are good, but tanks are only good if you're in critical numbers, which he didn't have, and you saw that as soon as TerrOr stepped out, there was no time wasted. Dewalt just jumped on that Reaver shot, hit 3 tanks in 1 Scarab. So they just instantly got murdered. And also it's Gladiator, where you can't spam turrets. So that map's extremely punishing whenever you try to even move slightly out of your natural.
I see Scarab shots, like a couple of the ones that Dewalt got off, and I'm just like, I don't know if like the next ABC family television show is going to be The Scarab Whisperer, where you get into the minds of these great Protoss players and you figure out what their secret is to getting their Scarabs to work. because nobody else's scarabs work. They just run around and do stupid stuff. Even pro players out here in Korea, they still do stupid stuff with their Reavers. I'm just like, I don't know, but somehow Dewalt's got the secret, so more power to him. What a dominant game there from Dewalt. I don't think, like, what did TerrOr do that game? He like tried to drop and it never worked. Like Dewalt was like wax on, wax off, like every single drop. He tried from one side, the other side. He got a vulture in, it killed one probe, and that's it. So I'm like, I never see Terrans die right there, right then to a push like that. Like Dewalt's really making it happen. So now we get on to the moment you've all been waiting for, the BSL Pièce de Résistance Power Bond. So I'm so excited to watch this 3-player map. Oh, I'm ready.
Yep, I'm ready. Let's see it.
Okay, away we go. All right, here we are. The map is Power Bond, and in the upper right-hand corner in the light yellow, one of our new colors, this is going to be our Peruvian Terran TerrOr. There we go.
And then in the bottom middle, again with the hot pink, it is Dewalt. And last game is pretty much the reason why whenever I hit Dewalt, we just play standard. If you, because he's so solid. He just reads you perfectly. He plays defensive. You can never, I don't think I've ever had a game where I was able to harass Dewalt. He just swats it down so easily, and then he just takes bases, and you can't do anything. You're just so far behind from that point.
Yeah.
So I really hope if TerrOr goes for aggressive play like we just saw, it's something like a 6-fact where we're gonna try and kill him. We're not gonna try and slowly build up a lead versus Dewalt, because I just don't see that ever happening.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, because so many players, like, this is what Flash does, right? Like, you can't play standard against Flash because he's too good, but you can't play weird against him either because he's so good at stopping it. So, like, if you're a player like Dewalt, sometimes he doesn't actually win a lot of these like standard games, but for players that try special tactics, you know, a lot of times he's just so solid at either sniffing it out, scouting it out, whatever, and it just doesn't do anything, and then you're behind and he just macros like a beast. So that's kind of what happened in game 1. You know, game 2, this is on Power Bond, and Power Bond is this like nice 3-player map. It doesn't have an insane amount of bases. It reminds me a little bit of like kind of like Sylphid, but with like some more rampiness. I don't know how to describe this. How would you characterize Power Bond, since we see it so often in BSL, Nyoken?
Well, it's like Circuit Breaker's got that mineral only. It's like Rush Hour, which is a very old map. I don't know if many people know that, but it was also a 3-player map. Tons of little bridges everywhere. High ground all over the place. Something like that. It's a good map. I like any map that has tons of minerals, which this map has tons.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you start with, was it 9 patches in your main? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
10
7, 8,
actually.
9. 10 patches. Whoa! Stay here forever.
Yeah, you get a super big econ, and in this game, TerrOr again has 2 on gas, and I'm already worried because this was exactly what we saw last game. Okay, TerrOr instantly pulls off the gas now that the probe came in, but I'm pretty sure he's going to put back onto it, and this may be a 2-fact. I don't think we're going to go Starport again because that just got swatted so easily, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see 2-fact.
Well, it's all about this pesky Mr. Probe right now. Finally, the probe goes down. Let's watch this SCV line. We gonna put it back on? No. Doesn't look like he is actually gonna get any more gas. So not gonna see that fast tech to drop ships like we did in game 1.
Well, TerrOr, even though no second factory or no starport, he is continuing to build Marines, which is a bit unusual. We may have an FE push, which is what SPX went for yesterday on Sylphid. Not too sure just what TerrOr wants to do with this yet. There's no SCV going down to the low ground. This does look like an FD push, but he's floating his racks.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure about this either, because he did kind of walk around, make sure there wasn't anything hiding up by the natural expansion. He's got everything set up to really deny any secondary attempt at getting into the main. So anything like a Zealot running through, or even just this Dragoon, not really going to be able to do all that much. I mean, it's going to harass the Marines and make their lives a little bit less helpful, but okay. Yeah, absolutely no idea exactly which direction TerrOr is going into, although it does look like he's going to expo before he does anything else.
Well, he did put back onto the gas, which made me think we may have a starport or a second factory just really late, but this is going to be something that Ample uses quite often, which is the one tank, 4 to 5 Marines with Vulture follow-up and mines, and afterwards you can continue to build more tanks and go for a delayed push at around 6 minutes, or you can just transition into the normal game. We'll have to see how TerrOr wants to use it, but because he's already shown 4 Marines, Dewalt may think that he's going for a time, and here we go, 2 Goon, pick off 1 Marine.
Yeah, Marines are such interesting ammunition because they don't, like, they're there so that you have to deal with them, because if you don't, they deal a lot of damage, but they also deal, like, they're also, like, you know, pretty much useless because they just get kited for the entire time. But if you don't, if you stand there and try to fight them, obviously the tank does a lot of damage. So it's really interesting. But he did see the Marine number, like you said, so that's pretty interesting. Always something you have to take note of. Behind this, though, what is Dewalt up to? It looks like he is going back towards robotics, which may just be for Observer, obviously, but maybe also another Reaver coming through as well.
Yeah, we've got 2 Gate Robo. This is pretty in between. It's never it's not committed to Reaver, it's not committed to mass goons or anything. So this is just a pretty standard safe opening versus everything. And he is going into Observer, and TerrOr is building those 3 tanks as expected. This probe gets all the way across the map and sees there's 2 tanks. He didn't see any vultures. He didn't see tanks moving out. So Dewalt, for now, he's in the dark. We'll have to see if he's going to put down robotics. Support bay, there it is at the back of his base.
Yeah.
He is going to build a Reaver, and if TerrOr tries to make something happen into 2 Gate Reaver, Rapid, that ain't going to work.
I'd like to thank Mr. Bonnet for helpful build order advice in chat. Guys, if you want to learn how to play StarCraft, Liquipedia, it's okay, but like the real advice comes from pros, either trashing other players' builds in chat or just helping out. So that's quite helpful. But yeah, Probe did scout the tank number, which is obviously very helpful, and nothing is going to scout this support bay until Comsat comes up, and that is maybe another, I don't know, 20 seconds away. About halfway done building, so we're gonna wait and see, but the shuttle speed, it's already about halfway done too.
Yeah, I like that TerrOr ended up sitting in his base. It would have been pretty much a disaster if he moved out. Sure, you would have had about maybe a minute or so to try and make something happen, but the goons would have bought time. So this is a smart move to sit back in his base, evaluate what's going on with scan, and then respond appropriately. He does have his armory already spinning with +1. And the Vulture has consistently checked to see if there's a Nexus anywhere. And because he doesn't see any Nexus, now he should be, without even having to scan, 100% certain that this is something like 2 Base Arbiter, Reaver, Carriers. He definitely needs to be ready for something in his main if a drop comes in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, earlier a Vulture tried to get in and it just got instantly shut down. So nothing happening there. But yeah, especially the front door. Here's the scan, and so he is going to see the main, but I don't know if the scan caught the support bay.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't see where he scanned, but I did notice that Dewalt is going into 2 Base Arbiter off of Reaver. Well, not 2 Base Arbiter anymore because he puts down that Nexus, but usually when you open Reaver, at least late. Oh, TerrOr just scanned the shuttle moving, and he saw that the shuttle has speed,
yeah.
But
it's to drop a probe to make a Nexus in the upper left-hand corner. I promise.
He could. Never know.
That would be the big brain play, because the shuttle speed gets there faster than the regular probe. All right, here we go. He scanned the shuttle, but he doesn't know when or where it's coming from. The answer is it came from behind, right in the middle line. Whoa! Not actually that great of a first Scarab. He has to pick it up thanks to the Goliaths coming forward. Gets out of dodge, but hey, damage is done. And now TerrOr has to look under his bed before he goes to sleep at night, because there's going to be a speed shuttle out there waiting for him.
Yeah, the Reaver only got 2 SCVs there, but I'm more concerned for TerrOr because I went back and checked his armory. His +1's about to finish, but no starport anywhere. If he wanted to go for those heavy upgrades, he needed to have a starport by now, and I don't know if he realizes it, but as soon as he does, he may just decide to all in 7-fac, 8-fac with 1-1, because he's definitely not going to have that big power spike 2-1 versus the incoming Arbiter anytime soon. So let's see what he wants to transition with.
Well, he's going to have to keep that in mind, as well as kind of batting away the shuttle. Unfortunately, his turret ring wasn't complete in time, and the Reaver is going to find purchase inside the back of TerrOr's base. So now the Reaver can either crawl slowly forward, but it also has to watch out. No, he's sneaking up on the shuttle. No, the shuttle gets sniped. Dewalt's attention was elsewhere, moving his army back out of the middle of the map, and he loses the shuttle, Reaver, and Zealot.
Yeah, that's a bit unlucky for him, but I think even though he didn't kill much with his Reaver, look how many turrets TerrOr built. He's got 3 at the bottom. There's a couple more in the main. There's one at the natural. There's a couple in the middle of the map. Like, despite not actually killing much, he forced out a lot of resources from TerrOr. So I think it was actually okay to lose the shuttle and Reaver, even though it wasn't ideal. But here we go, Dewalt trying to get a little damage on the third, but that's a lot of tanks set up. And back in the main of Dewalt, the Arbiter's halfway done, and there is that factory flood from TerrOr. Holy moly, we got 9
I love it. You called it, Nyoken. What a madman. How much of an economy do you need to... I mean, I guess kind of the rule, at least that I've heard, is like 3 factories per command center, but 9 is still way up there.
Yeah, 9, this is about the maximum you can produce off of 3 base, and this is going to be a 1-1 timing, but I'm just worried that the Arbiter's already going to be done. It's going to take a while for TerrOr, I think, to feel confident moving out. Like, he'll probably wait for at least 150, 160. We may have 2 Arbiters by then with stasis each, and TerrOr's going to have really good positioning with his units, because the 2 stasis, that can just decimate a Terran army. Here comes Dewalt again. I don't know if he's really trying to get any damage done or just trying to clear out these mines.
Ooh, loses a couple of Dragoons up top, but he is just putting on a lot of pressure. And I really like that he's doing this, because he's being proactive, but also he's trying to say, you know, if you're trying any like shenaniganry, you're eventually going to have to fight me. And that's one way to really figure out what your opponent's up to. So he sees mass vultures running out of the main, and trying to set this minefield up in the middle. So mission here for Dewalt is to pick off the mines, the vultures, and make sure that they don't get anywhere near those precious innocent probes. Unfortunately, TerrOr pretty good at heat-seeking probe missiles, so he catches quite a few as they Maynard out from the main to the third, and gets a little bit of damage done, saves maybe 5-6 of the vultures, and so they are going to escape and continue to lay their mines out on the map.
Yeah, TerrOr got a few probe kills, but really he needs to save these vultures, because we know what he's going for. He's going for a timing. If you just lose your vultures when you're going for a timing, imagine he lost all 12 vultures rapid. That's 24 supply. And he's going to have just a single one-time attack to try and get crippling damage done versus Dewalt. Because if he doesn't, Dewalt's already 4 base, setting up for 5 base. He's got 2 arbiters in any moment now. It's not like we have EMP to shut them down. So every supply matters for TerrOr when he's going for a timing like this. And now here he goes. He's at 160.
Yeah, here we go. Now, one great way to stop a Terran from doing a push like this is to run in with a shuttle right when he's trying to push out and force him to pull back, which would obviously really slow down the push and kind of neuter it. But I'm not even sure TerrOr would care about that, because this is it. That Han Bang, man, we're going for it. And there is an observer scouting exactly this, so Dewalt knows exactly what's going on here. Finally, the Terran army going to be forced to siege up. Yeah, just a few of the tanks, though. He's keeping most of the tanks mobile, because this is a gigantic Terran army. Holy moly. Sieging up in the middle of the map, though, he's not in range of really anything so far, but just trying to push Dewalt back. And oh man, I think Dewalt might be forced to go here pretty soon. One of the Arbiters about to get picked off here. Will it be taken down? One stasis does go off. He's looking for another one. He barely doesn't have energy for it. Dragoons from the back end, it completely melted. But the Zealots finally moving forward. They're going to be stealth cloaked. They're on top of the tanks in the back here. Dewalt's still moving forward. More Zealot reinforcements coming through as one of the Arbiters is picked off. But the tank line so deep, I think TerrOr might just have too much.
Yeah, this was not the stasis that Dewalt needed, and TerrOr just instantly reinforcing. He has to win the game with this push. He has no follow-up. He's breaching the third. He's on top of the entrance of the natural, which cuts off reinforcements. He can try and bust the fourth base. I think TerrOr might have done it. Also, the Arbiter, it's still alive, though. It can have stasis pretty soon, but look at the supply. 40 up for TerrOr.
Yeah, TerrOr with an incredible move there. So decisive. Now, one of the big problems, even though Dewalt's on 4 base, he doesn't have any gateways anywhere else on the map. So any unit he makes has to come straight out the front, and you don't want to go out that way. There's so many tanks and vultures all sieged up here, but these Zealots, worth their weight in gold. So much damage being done, the tanks HP being whittled down, but I don't know, this is so careful, so balanced on a knife's edge right now, because TerrOr, this is it for him. He's gonna go really hard right now, but if Dewalt can just hold on for a little bit longer and kind of stabilize, he'll be in a great spot.
TerrOr did it. He's got the third base. He's got these 2 vultures in the natural that have killed a lot of probes. Now we have tanks onto the 4th base. He's gonna do it. Dewalt, even if he somehow saves, like doesn't die right here, he just doesn't have probes now. He's shot down to 47 probes versus TerrOr's 60. Yeah, TerrOr did it, man. This one attack that could have, the only attack he could have made to win this game, he's gonna do it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Just basically no way to break out. Another little stasis comes down, catches a couple of tanks in the front, but like, how do you even get to the units in the back? Like, Dewalt is trying desperately to hang on, but just scan after scan after scan comes through. Even in despite the lack of a science vessel, here we go, the shuttle dropping a couple of Zealots off on the tanks in the back line, but hey, there's vultures right there to take care of the Zealot threat, keep the tanks alive, and that's it. Dewalt taps out. TerrOr is taking us to a game number 3.
That's some sick macro right there. When the fight happened, it was like 180 to 176. So TerrOr matched the macro of Dewalt, who has really upped up his macro in the past few months. So we've got a series. Dewalt, who looked extremely dominant in the first game, TerrOr came back and just smacked him. He said, I can keep up with your macro.
Dude, I love series like this because it's just 2 absolute monster murderers like going head to head. They're just taking turns slapping each other. Game 1, not close. Dewalt just smacks them. Game 2, TerrOr, 9 factories, overruns Dewalt. It's just like, oh, I thought you had an army there. I'm sorry. It's so good. And now we have game 3. So for man, I read about, what was it? There's this Victorian like stick and ball sport, which is like the predecessor to baseball, but it like you weren't allowed to throw the ball, you had to roll it across the ground, whatever. But they played best of 4s. And I'm just like, how stupid a tournament. Like what? How is that even? Anyway, best of 3, best of 5. We figured it out finally, and we have one final game to see who can slap back the hardest. The map is going to be Neo Sylphid. I want to say yes. Correct. So we get another one of these 3-player maps. What do you think's going to happen here, Nyoken?
I think we may have a repeat of what we just saw, because I think Sylphid has really good, strong pushing map. If TerrOr goes for that style again, and DeWalt overpowers, overtechs, overexpands, he could be in trouble. So I'm hoping that DeWalt goes maybe like 3 base and just tries to max and match the max out from TerrOr, but you never know. I could be wrong, but that's what I think is going to happen.
Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's get into it. The map is Neo Sylphid. It's game 3 from the first best of 3 in Group B in the round of 16 of BSL Season 7. Let's go. It's Dewalt versus TerrOr. All right, in the 6 o'clock or 12 o'clock location at the top of the map, Neo Sylphid in the light yellow. Actually, this is just the plain yellow, same color as the probes. This is our Protoss player from Russia. It's Dewalt.
And in the bottom right, in the teal, showing us that he can macro like a god, it is TerrOr. I thought for sure that this color was the stinky green or the stinky yellow. Not the pale yellow, but it doesn't.
We're gonna figure that out. That olive color is disgusting.
Yeah, that is disgusting. But you know that Dewalt's in serious mode because no more hot pink. We're not messing around.
Yeah, that magenta color. Get that out of here. That's for noobs. We've upgraded to the Pro Protoss color because it's the same color as everything else Protoss. So, but I'm excited because we also have the teal Terran color. This is like the light. I don't know what they call this one, but it's way lighter than the malachite color. I don't know. It looks sexy, and so does TerrOr. That push that he did, just monstrous. Like, it just goes to show like the ability to build units. Guys, if you want to get good at Brood War, like, learn the other stuff and like build it, but just make things. Just do a lot. Just like make a bunch of stuff, and then eventually you'll get good enough to use that stuff. But the making the stuff, that's the hard part sometimes. And TerrOr macroing off those 9 facts. I saw like the 3rd round of units come out. I was like, wait a second, he just has like 100 supply army. That's just like so crazy. And yeah, Dewalt just not ready at all for that push.
Yeah, I thought that Dewalt was gonna actually win the fight because there was a point where about 8 tanks clumped up together in siege, but the stasis on the Vulture in the front was not the stasis. If he had hit even half those tanks, that might have been all he needed, but really the stasis it just backfired. None of the units could get onto the actual tank line in the back. A bit unfortunate, so I hope Dewalt has a better engagement this time. Now we do see that TerrOr has gone for no gases. It is a 12 gas again, and first scout for Dewalt. He's trying to get harassment done with his probe, and late scout for TerrOr. He may not actually be able to get in this. Dragoon might actually come out before he gets up to the top side.
Yeah, I was gonna say, really early scouting is like, in ZVZ. If you scout the right way with your Overlord, you can just chill, and you can see it. But with any other matchup, it's not quite so easy for our poor little land-based units here. The probe got in and scouted the early builds. Will this SCV be able to make it through? Because I'm not totally sure if it's going to make it in. Okay, yeah, I guess it is going to get there. The Dragoon only about halfway done.
Well, here we go. TerrOr, this is the first time I've seen him not have 2 on gas. It is just 1. So 100% he's going to be expanding this time. But he does have a surprising amount of gas stored up. So maybe he is going to go for some type of tech. I don't think so. He's putting down another depot. This again is looking like the ample opening, with the 4 Marines, 5 Marines with the tank and Vulture follow-up. And because it's Sylphid, this may actually be a timing attack with the initial units, not just I'm going to lay some mines for control and then do my own thing from there.
Yeah, I kind of know how you feel. I heard the Marines shooting, and I was like, wait a second, what's going on? Just clearing out the egg at the front of the base. I would love to see a timing attack like that. I guess you could kind of call that last game a timing attack. It's not necessarily the one that I'm used to seeing, but I mean, I guess sometimes you just got to go with it. Oh, okay, I really like what Dewalt's getting up to. Already Citadel in the back of the base.
I think that Dewalt knows what's coming because he had this probe sitting outside of the base the whole time. He doesn't see a bunker. He didn't see a command center. What else could you be doing? It could be starport, of course, but I think it's unlikely for TerrOr to go starport twice. So going for something like a 2-fac, you can shut that down with just non-stop DTs. If it's a push like this, DT kills everything. So I'm loving this opener. Now, we still don't know if TerrOr's going to push, but the Marine count says that this is probably going to be a push.
Yeah, and especially if these Dragoons can get forward and see, yeah, you're not going to have an SCV and 6 Marines at the front of your base if you're not doing something with them. So good setter stepping. He's found this force out on the map, and he's doing such a good job taking the Marines out. Now getting on top of the tank, even though he's going to lose a couple of Dragoons here, he takes the tank out and completely stops this push in its tracks.
Yeah, amazing control from Dewalt, stopping everything, but he also sent a probe in at the same time, confirms the expansion, confirms one fact, and now that Dewalt actually stopped the attack, TerrOr is not going to move across the map and try and get a lot. Well, as I say that, there goes that vulture. It gets in the probe. He's going to see the DT pop out, probably. TerrOr is in a really good position. He sees the Templar Archive.
Damn, dude. Okay. I mean, both players really exercising, like flexing right now. Not only is like Dewalt, like TerrOr's going for the scary push, Dewalt stopping the scary push. Dewalt gets in with a probe to scout. TerrOr gets in with a vulture and scouts everything. Like, oh my god, this is so sick. And now, I mean, what's Dewalt going to do with the DT? It's definitely not a surprise anymore.
Yeah, Dewalt is in trouble because a lot of times when you get your DT scouted like this, you think, well, I already know he has mines, and now he knows that I have DTs. So the chance of DTs working are extremely low. And because of that, I'm going to change my course. I'm either going to tech straight Arbiter, or I'm going to double expand, or something else. And we see that's exactly what Dewalt's doing. He's double expanding. But if I was TerrOr in this position, I would spam mass 5-6 vultures and just go for it, because the chances of him stopping mass vulture with no observer, extremely low. But luckily for Dewalt, we don't see TerrOr going for that.
Yeah, and even if he was, the observatory is about halfway done, so he'd probably be able to get the obs out in time if he was, able to recognize that. But yeah, no, I totally agree. If he just like showed up with like a billion vultures at your base, like what are you gonna do if you're not ready for that? But, no, mines are pretty hard to like. If it's like 2 or 3 vultures, obviously Dewalt's good enough to like pick the mines off as they come down. But otherwise, yeah, not even Dewalt would be able to handle something that scary. But hey, with the DTs, at least you're gonna be able to pick off like stray vultures that are just chilling. If you're good enough, fast on your fingers, you can snipe the mines so that they aren't as devastating. But even still, Dewalt not where he wants to be at all, having to pull back and go for this double expo.
Yeah, well, even though TerrOr didn't build mass vultures like I would have done, he went for a similar idea. He's gonna go attack Dewalt because he knows that there's no way this guy just continued to make DTs. He's gonna be powering or double expanding or teching or something. And look at what we're doing. We built more vultures. We got 3 or 4 tanks. We've got more marines mixed in, SCVs to build turrets and bunker. And vultures are decimating this probe line, and they get out for now.
Wait, so you're saying you can do damage, kill probes, and then just like not die and run away? Wow. Damn, that's actually really sick. Okay, well, there is a DT on one of the tanks here. He scans, takes it out, but okay, it does go down, but the tank dies with it. A couple of Dragoons getting taken out, but this is already a kind of scary position to have a Terran army in.
Yeah, he's spamming turrets. He needs to get a bunker down. If he gets a bunker down, I would love TerrOr's position. I also think TerrOr needs to start putting down some more factories, but unfortunately, he's a bit gas-starved. And Dewalt, even though he lost probes, he is still on 3 factories. Oh, the tank gonna go down.
Ooh, that's a nice pick-off. He was trying to reposition a little bit aggressively, but losing a tank there. Great pick-off there by Dewalt. He's going to go forward. Ooh, no, this is not the way to do it in the back. But maybe he can still take out some of these tanks. Tanks are very low here. One of them has just a couple more shots. He gets one of them. There's only one tank with about 2 hits left on it in the back line, but another fresh round of reinforcements coming through from TerrOr. He's going to get a vulture, 2 vultures into the main.
Yeah, TerrOr just out positioning, Dewalt out macroing. He really does need to get more factories down, because I think Dewalt can stabilize off a 4-gate goon, but TerrOr's breached the 3rd base, shut that down.
Yeah, oh wow, I actually didn't notice that. Completely even supply, but it's about where the supply is and what it's doing right now. In the natural, in the natural, safe but oversaturated, because the probes all had to run for the hills from that 3rd base. So the double expo, the 2nd expo, is getting shut down here. The Nexus will fall. Dewalt kind of wisely pulling back for now, and just now trying to break out and maybe do something about this tank line out on the map. So he's going to move forward. There is one tank. It's very high HP. Ooh, losing a couple of Dragoons there as he pushes forward, but Dewalt, yeah, he got a little bit smacked by that push out, and now has a very scary Terran force right outside his natural.
Well, this is the Terran nightmare because check all the gates, Rapid. We've got 4 DTs. There's a shuttle out. Where do you think he's going with this? You know where he's going, straight to the main. And Terra's consistently just been sending across the map. What does he have in his main? 1 turret. There's really not that much production either. It's 3 factories. If he blows all his scan for whatever reason. Oh, the DT onto the tank.
Oh, very, very good scan, but not in time to save it. One of the tanks does go down. But you're right. It's all about the shuttle and the Cape boys. He's got them in it. And now he's going to use them to sort of carpet bomb on top of the tanks to try to take it out. Really, really beautiful way to use them, but I don't know if they're actually having quite the effect. Although, wow, okay, there it is. 2 tanks gone effortlessly. 2 more DTs in this shuttle, and he's going to make it past everything towards the main.
Yeah, and look where that armory is placed in the main. It's all the way in the back. Luckily, Terror has scanned, so he'll be able to save the armory, but that could be a big pick-off if he can. Oh, he's going to run into the turret. No, Dewalt.
No, my God. Dewalt, come on, man. That's a big blow. Now, all of a sudden, you have nothing out on the map at all. And this new Nexus you're putting down, I don't know how long that's going to stay up.
Yes, Terror's right there. He's going to siege 1 tank on the low ground, use mines for vision. Now, this is a bit dangerous to put the tank right here because the Dragoons can range it, but the mines are buying a lot of time to keep the Dragoons back. Meanwhile, Terra's actually expanding behind us. I'm so shocked that he didn't 6-fact all in because he forced out a lot of units, a lot of high-tech units too. 4 DTs, 5 DTs that Dewalt built. Now these tanks are going to go down. Too many goons.
Yeah, it's an awkward position to get the goons in, though. They do have to kind of scrape the wall right there. But they do go down. Mines probably won't be... Okay, he dragged it backwards. I thought it was actually going to move forward. Oh, no! Another one scuttles in from the side. So actually not that great a trade from Dewalt at all.
I think that Dewalt's actually done it because he's up supply. He's got so many Zealots at his entrance now. He just needs to make some more Dragoons because if these Zealots tank the mine hits, they're all just going to get obliterated. But he's also got his Stargate up. Arbiter Tribunal's about halfway done. I don't think Terror did enough damage. He did quite a bit of damage, but it seems like both players have stabilized and are content to just move back to their own side of the map and expand.
Yeah, wow. Dewalt's ability to stabilize, I see so many Protoss players just die there. And obviously against a Terran as scary as Terror, it doesn't, it's not a big surprise. But, Terror's not totally respecting the ceasefire. He's back out with a huge force on the other side of the map, and now we're going to see a lot of blue goo. Those tanks siege so fast, in such a great position. The Zealots are coming from behind with the Dragoons in front. That's the opposite of what you want, but there are a lot of Zealots. The Dewalt macro's kicking in, so we are going to be able to clean this up pretty solidly.
Yeah, this was a big overextension from Terror, and he loses all of his key tanks. And with the Arbiter already building, you just got to think that Dewalt's done it now. He's up 30 supply. He just killed 5 tanks, not for free, but almost for free. And Terror's, he's just now getting his own 3rd base, but Dewalt, now that he's wiped the tank line, probably going to take a 4th. Vulture's trying to get some more damage done, getting into this 3rd base.
Yeah, this is some good damage here. Very, very good harassment from Terror, not only now, but he got a bunch of probe kills earlier. And as you can just see from the unit counting station, there's 20 worker lead for Terror now.
Yeah, I just realized that. So not only is Dewalt up in supply, he's up like 30 in terms of army, but that might come back to haunt him because Terror's econ is crazy. We might just see another big factory flood pretty soon. And Dewalt really can't go explode into 4 base. Well, outside say that he takes the 4th base, but at least it's not like he's going to be able to put down, the 20 gateways that we see all the Protoss players build, and then they just build non-stop units. Terror still has a chance, but I do like Dewalt's position a little better, just in terms of his tech Arbiter just now coming out.
Yeah, and anytime you're able to take out a big Terran army like that, it opens you up to do things like get this 4th base up, like sweep all the mines out of the middle of the map, and really just get some breathing room between you and all of those scary siege tanks that are out there. But hey, you know, this is still a 3-base Terran player. I don't know. What do you think is the best recourse here for Terror? Because he's got a strong economy, but his army just got taken out. Do you pull back here, or do you really try to get that army count up as fast as possible?
I think he just pulls back. He's putting down the factory flood simply because he just has enough money now. He's got 3 base. It's 9 fact again. He's going to wait for the +2 power spike. Really?
Okay.
Terror, I think, since we see that the probe count is so low, Terror just needs to make sure he doesn't get recalled. If he doesn't get recalled, pushes up to that 3rd base, I think he might do it. The 3rd base just cuts off all the mining for Dewalt. The natural's getting close to mined out. The main is close to mined out. And Dewalt doesn't have anything on the left side of the map. So if he just gets into that choke where he was a few minutes ago, that might just end the game.
Yeah, I mean, you were the one calling the recall. It's about a third of the way done as far as the tech is concerned. There's a shuttle with 4 zealots in it that Dewalt was doing this really cool sort of harassment with, where you try to look for tanks and drop the zealots on the tanks to kill them with splash, but really couldn't find anything, couldn't get into the main, couldn't get into the natural. I'm just like, oh, this shuttle is not finding anything out there on the map. Although I will say Dewalt does have quite a few Dragoons just out here scouting for these big vulture run-bys and trying to push them back.
Yeah, Vulture's taking a lot of damage, and any damage you can get done onto the Vultures is kind of a big deal, because usually they run way far ahead of the tanks in a big fight, and if there's no Vulture support, all of a sudden Zealots just freely walk onto the tanks, and we could see a scenario that we just saw a few moments ago. All these Vultures are dying, and we know that Terror wants to attack at 2-1. I think this is a big mistake to just lose 20 supply for free like this.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, like, I wouldn't say that either, like, both players have their own distinct advantages this game, but definitely don't want to be throwing anything away. It's not like either player has the advantage. Oh, here comes the Arbiter. Oh, there's not enough. Oh, sickest recall right in the back. And this is in such a sick position to look at all of these depots right here.
Yeah, this is going to be crippling to Terror, and this is exactly what Dewalt needed. At least Terror got +2, but his +1 armor is going to go down. And all this is doing is buying time for Dewalt. He's got his 5th base going up. All the depots are going to go down, which stalls out an incoming push. Terror can't even max now. Look, he's supply capped.
And even though this is going to be cleaned up, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be pretty. More and more of these depots are going to be taken out here. And oh my God, there's still so much here. That was a gigantic recall. Holy moly. More tanks going to go down here to the Zealots on top of them. This is actually doing so much damage. And the tanks can't even reach the Zealots, killing the depots in the back.
Oh no, there's an attack in the front. Stasis is perfect. A Zealot bomb on top of the tanks. Get on top of those.
Oh my God, Dewalt! Holy! Okay, so he killed it back in the back. There's still a Zealot, by the way, killing depots, and one that just killed another siege tank. So the recall, still not cleaned up. There's 2 Zealots back there still going to town.
Well, he can't clean it up because he's perma supply blocked. We just now started building depots, and it's only 1, so that's really only going to be able to get him, what, 4 more units? Meanwhile, Dewalt 5 base now, 6 base even, and we do have that big factory count, or gateway count. We've got 10 gate for him. He's got double forge. Dewalt, he did it. He's up 40 supply now.
Well, I mean, you called it, Nyoka, and you were like, as long as he doesn't get recalled. And he gets the sickest recall off. So, Dewalt, wow, what a move here. Both players just absolutely crushing. And now, finally, Dewalt going on the aggressive outside the recall. He's pushing in here to the 6 o'clock location. Big EMP goes off on the Arbiter. A lot of shields taken off of those Dragoons. They're very, very squishy right now. And, man, if there's a way to recall out of here, Dewalt 1000% would. But instead, he is actually going to lose everything.
Yeah, but what does that do, Rapid? It just draws all the tanks out of position. And where are we going now? See ya, 3rd base. Just infinity Zealots and Dragoons just bombarding this Terran base. And once this goes down, Terror's mining basically on that 4th base, and that's it.
Oh, a huge Mind Drag helping out as well. Well, a big one. And yeah, this base is totally donezo. Terror trying to reposition it. at least help defend it, stem the tide here. But look at how many Zealots Dewalt has. Holy moly. Rolling over. TerrOr taps out. GG. Dewalt taking the 2-1 victory and in the end advancing on in the winner's match.
Well, that was a scrappy game. I thought TerrOr with his contain was just going to end it. But Dewalt held on strong. Remember, he was down 20 probes also, so a really good recovery. I think TerrOr was a little bit nervous not putting down enough factories in the early game, but you got to give credit where credit is due. Dewalt, in crisis mode, was able to handle the pressure. But this at least confirmed to me that Dewalt is not invincible, right? Like, TerrOr brought it to him, and it was extremely close. So I don't think you can say, oh, Dewalt 100% making it out. I think he
also... Yeah, absolutely. I think also Dewalt was not in the lead for 100% of that game. Like, TerrOr definitely killed so many probes that game. Oh my god. Even though he lost that big force trying to go kill the fourth base, I guess it was, he still killed like 30, 40, 50 probes that game. Just crazy numbers. So there was some back and forth going on there, and I loved it. That whole series, it had everything. The first two games were just smacking each other down. I love it. I can't wait. And I also can't wait because we have not only a commercial break to go to, but when we come back, we've got Eon Zerg versus Ultra coming up, and of course the winner of that will go on to play Dewalt to advance out of this group of death. Some crazy games coming up, so don't go anywhere. Be right back with more BSL.